Trying to find out how many Pokemon cards a certain Pokemon has isn't as easy as you might think. Take this Pikachu and Zekrom GX card for example. For this video, I counted it as one card each for Pikachu and Zekrom. Fine, right? Well, it has several different versions of the same card. There's the regular version, a full art version, a promo version, a rainbow version, and a gold promo version. Since I'm not including alternate arts in my tally, those extra cards don't count, but when you search them online, they all show up. So I'll freely admit that my math isn't 100% perfect because there's 900 Pokemon and a bajillion cards overall. Additionally, Pokemon cards get reprints. Take this base set Pikachu for example. It was reprinted in base set 2, Pop Series 2, Rising Rivals, Evolutions, and Celebrations, though the last two do have a little bit of differences. Since I'm not including reprints either, those all count as one card. Essentially, a new Pokemon card only counts when it's new. No reprints, no alternate arts, no reverse holos. It's confusing and I had to make some judgment calls along the way, but ultimately, even if I accidentally left out a new card here or added a reprint there, the results won't be changed all that much. Now, I've wasted enough of your time already, so instead of saving the big reveal for the end, I'll count down the top 6 most popular Pokemon in the TCG right now because let's face it, you already have an idea of who they are. The rest of the video, I'll go generation by generation, letting you know the most popular Pokemon from each region, so I don't just focus on Eevee, Charizard, and Pikachu the whole time. Oops, did I just spoil everything? Yes, you probably guessed who the top Pokemon would be before you clicked on this video. Pikachu, Charizard, and Eevee have all been featured on mainline box art, been mainstays on the anime, and been mascots for the Pokemon franchise since it began in the mid-90s. Obviously, every Gen 1 Pokemon has an advantage simply due to the fact they've been out the longest, but I can still guarantee you'll be surprised along the way. So, of course, at number 1 we have Seel. Just kidding, it's Pikachu. Obviously. With just under 100 unique cards, Pikachu is the most popular Pokemon in the TCG by a decent margin. It gets special treatment along with Eevee in that it's a pre-evolution with ultra rare cards, meaning that it receives, GX, EX, and VMAX cards, and it's also greatly benefited from cards like Ash's Pikachu and Detective Pikachu. And I mean, come on, who else would it have been at the top? And at number 2, it should come as no surprise that it's Unown? What? Yes, something that shocked me more than a Thunderbolt, Unown has 89 cards by my count, easily placing it in second. I looked for any reason to disqualify Unown from the top of the list, but it fit all of the criteria. Every art was different, and everyone either had a different ability, different attack, or when the attack had the same name, it had a different effect. Interestingly, nearly all of the Unown cards were released 15 plus years ago, and only a handful have been printed in the last few years. Clearly, Unown cheats by being the same Pokemon shaped in different letters, but on my list, it earns its second place finish. The rest of the top 6 is filled with generation Pokemon, and I'll count them down from number 6 to number 3. Coming in at number 6 is actually Charizard. Despite being the Pokemon that always fetches the highest price on the open market, it's only the 6th most popular Pokemon when it comes to unique cards with 38. In 5th place is another surprise. Out of all the Pokemon in Gen 1, Meowth takes this spot with 39 cards. Obviously, it has a bit of an advantage since it comes in 3 forms, Cantonian, Alolan, and Galarian. Then in 4th place with 44 cards we have Eevee, who not only is super cute and a mascot, but has all of those evolutions that can only come from Eevee. It's kind of ironic that Pikachu was a rare counter in Viridian Forest and Eevee was essentially a hidden Pokemon in Red and Blue, yet they've become ultra popular over the years. And that's all thanks to us, the fans. But who is at number 3? Mewtwo? Gyarados? Snorlax? Nope, it's actually Raichu with 45 cards. Since all forms of the Pokemon count towards the same Pokemon, Raichu is just ahead of Eevee thanks to its Alolan form. I wasn't expecting Raichu to be this high up on the list, but I guess it does make sense given Pikachu's popularity. Now it's time to jump to the generation by generation breakdown. Pikachu, Raichu, Eevee, Meowth, and Charizard are obviously the tops in Generation 1, but who's next? Well, it's Mewtwo with 34 cards. There's several other Pokemon with 30 plus cards from Gen 1, so let's count those down. There's Gyarados at 33, Electrode and Ninetales at 32, Magnemite and Snorlax at 31, and Voltorb and Vulpix at 30. Don't ask me why Electrode, Voltorb, and Magnemite are so high up, that just baffles me. And if you're wondering how Growlithe and Arcanine compare to Vulpix and Ninetales, they have 22 and 23 cards respectively, but all that will change when we start seeing cards based on the Hisuian forms, hopefully later this year. Unown is by far the most popular Gen 2 Pokemon, but behind it we have a tie between Celebi and Houndoom at 26 cards each. Simply because of the age of Johto, Pokemon from this region have a lot of cards, with 20 having at least 20. For spots 4 and 5 in Johto, I'll give you a choice of 9 Pokemon. Ampharos, Chinchou, Espeon, Houndour, Larvitar, Starmie, Steelix, Tyranitar, and Umbreon. All of them have at least 22 cards, yes, even Chinchou for some reason, but which ones have the most at 25 and 24? If you guessed Espeon and Umbreon, you'd be wrong. It's actually Tyranitar and Ampharos. In terms of starter Pokemon, Typhlosion has the most at 16, putting it in a tie with Snubbull and Azumarill. Gen 3 has a clear winner, and it's one of the Pokemon on the cover of Ruby, Sapphire, or Emerald. No, it's not Kyogre or Groudon, which aren't even in the top 5 of Gen 3, but it's Rayquaza at number 1 with 33 cards. Following it up is Deoxys, which is helped along by the fact it has several different forms and was on the cover of a movie. For the rest of the top 5, you're probably expecting Gardevoir or Metagross or Salamence or maybe even Blaziken. In fact, none of them are there. It's Electrike and Manectric tied for 3rd with 25 cards each, with Sableye in 5th with 23. There's a 10-way tie for 6th between Blaziken, Torchic, those 3 Stage 2 Pokemon I mentioned previously, as well as Kyogre and Groudon and a few others. I don't think Gen 4's number 1 Pokemon will surprise anybody, considering it was the focus of a movie. I'm of course talking about Lucario. With a whopping 29 cards, it's the clear winner of this generation. In second place is Rotom with 23, but it's another one of those Pokemon helped out by the fact it has several different forms. Other big names fill out the top 6 in Gen 4, with Dialga at 21, Darkrai at 20, Arceus at 19, and Shaman at 18. Thanks to the connection with Lucario, Riolu is tied with Shaman at 18 cards apiece. Then, just beating out Garchomp and Palkia, we have Bronzong with 17 cards. Empoleon is the most popular starter with 15 cards, tying it with Shinx. Okay, so for Gen 5, there's a bit of an asterisk. The most popular Pokemon is Kyurem with 25 cards. Again, it's featured in a movie and is on the box art for Black 2 and White 2. However, Kyurem is another one of those Pokemon with multiple forms, in this case, White Kyurem and Black Kyurem. I combined them into one total, but if you want the pure number 1 with no spice, it's Victini with 20. There's clearly a pattern here with Pokemon featured on movie covers plus their status as either a mythical or legendary. There's actually a large gap between 2nd and 3rd in Gen 5. 2 Pokemon are tied for 3rd with 13 cards each. One is the focus of a movie, the other you'll never be able to guess. Of course, those Pokemon are Zoroark and Bisharp. I don't know why Bisharp is so popular either, but Pokemon with multiple types do seem to have an increased chance of seeing more cards. Then we have a logjam of Pokemon at 12 cards each: Litwick, Chandelure, Stunfisk, Hydreigon, Genesect, Reshiram, Zekrom, Joltik, and Zorua. Funnily enough, Pansear has 11 cards, tying it with Excadrill and Volcarona. For starter Pokemon, Tepig has the most at 9. It's Greninja. I'm not even going to tease you. Of course, Greninja is number 1 in Gen 6 with 16 cards. The most popular Pokemon of 2020, according to a Google poll, it's the most popular Kalos Pokemon in the TCG, just beating out Zygarde, who has 15 cards. The Dog, Snake, and Transformer forms of Zygarde are all featured in cards, but you won't be seeing Squishy in any of them. Aegislash stands alone in 3rd place with 13 cards, followed by a 4-way tie at 12 cards with Honedge, Malamar, Trevenant, and Yveltal. Obviously, Greninja is the most popular Gen 6 starter, but to find the next one on the list, you'll have to go all the way down to Froakie with 8. While Mimikyu was voted as the 3rd most popular Pokemon in 2020, it's actually Lycanroc that has the most Pokemon cards from Gen 7 with 13. You know, multiple forms and what have you. Mimikyu is in 2nd though with 11, and that includes the Celebration promo you can't use in tournaments. It pains me to say this, but Salandit and Salazzle are 3rd on the list with 10 cards each. I'll always have a hatred of these Pokemon because of how long I spent raising a male Salandit in my first playthrough of Sun and Moon, but the Pokemon Company has pushed it hard in the TCG. If you combine regular Necrozma with the Ultra, Dustmane, and Dawnwings forms, it also has 10 cards, then in 6th is Tapu Koko with 9 cards. The most popular starter is Litten at 8 cards, tying it with Solgaleo, Lunala, Rockruff, Oricorio, Drampa, Bewear, and Wishiwashi. And finally, the most popular Pokemon of Gen 8 are Cinderace and Morpeko with 9 cards each. Obviously, being the newest generation, you can't expect too many cards for these Pokemon, but starters have been treated quite well this time around. After Toxtricity and Urshifu are tied for 3rd with 8 cards each, we have Inteleon, Rillaboom, Centiskorch, and Zacian tied at 7 cards apiece. And there you have it, the most popular Pokemon from every generation in the Pokemon TCG. Which Pokemon do you think doesn't deserve all the love it receives? Obviously for me, it's Salandit and Salazzle, but what about you? And are there any questions I didn't answer that you'd want me to cover in a future episode if I happen to do one? Let me know in the comments.